Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Here we are, and just got a couple of things I want to share with you, and we'll we'll be done. Join me for a few minutes. Love it if you join me for a few minutes. We're just, you know, over and over again. I have such an opportunity because I get to, you know, to without what would be normally called qualifications, other than my, you know, years and years in recovery, I get to work with people in recovery and love them and and watch them and be part of their journey so that's the only thing that really qualifies me to do this is that I was in that dark place. I've been in that dark place. I know what it's like to um, not be able to see the way out. I, I'm a recovered addict and alcoholic, so I lived there, and I lived there in denial. I lived there in this, hope that it would kind of somehow magically get better, that life would change, that life would change, and that I wouldn't have to. So I get it. I really do. I understand the the plight of the recovering or not so recovering addict or alcoholic. And often they reach out for help, and it's but they often the addict, the alcoholic says, yes, I want help, but I want it on my terms. And it's just such an interesting thing that it can't be on their terms. It can't be on the terms of the addict or the alcoholic. It has to be, there has to be a surrender, because the nature of the problem is in our thinking. It's not in the behavior. The behavior is a symptom of our thinking, and but we're in a dark place with our thinking. We think our thinking is okay. You know, we can't see that our thinking is muddled, more than muddled. That that it's rooted in fear and selfishness and self-centeredness. We can't see that, you know, and that started at such a young age for many of us that we just don't, we don't know how to get out. We're like, what do you mean I have to change my thinking to what? And so it was interesting that Carl Jung, who many of you will recognize the name of Carl Jung, really was the guy in the beginning who, his recommendation to some of the early people in Alcoholics Anonymous helped, us to see that what he said had to happen was a complete psychic change. It wasn't a little tweaking here and there. It wasn't a couple of new skills. Skills wouldn't do it. It wasn't a changing of a few ideas. It had to be a fundamental change. And that's not easy. So the addict or the alcoholic, when presented with this idea that, we need to have a fundamental change, we're like, yeah, but, yeah, but, and okay, yeah, but, and, and, and yeah. So it's difficult, and it's like a glitch in the equipment of all humanity, that we think we can run the show, and somehow we've gotten disconnected with our source, and we're running it from ego, and that's the nature of the beast, and if it could be that, here we are stuck in, on this planet, if we could be, if everybody was the same, if everybody was running for, their lives based on ego, and this is the best that we could have, then this would be the best we could have. But it's not the truth. Since the dawn of time, men have had awakenings, men and women have had awakenings, and lives have been changed, and now it's happening so everywhere, like, not just because of the 12 steps in recovery, but it's happening everywhere. Like there's a wholesale shift happening, that everybody has access to this awakening, and so we don't just um, the possibility is to live in the fourth dimension. It talks about it in the 12 steps, that we can live in we're skyrocketed, we're rocketed into the fourth dimension. We can live happy, joyous, and free. These are big promises. We can live free of fear, right? We can know intuitively how to make decisions. These are the promises. We can, go from feeling like, we're useless pieces of poop to, having that we feel like we're contributing, we're part of society. That's a shift. And we don't have to have lost everything. It seems so that for many of us, we have to lose everything before we can see it. So that's my message today. That it's there. It's why resist it? And if you're an addict or an alcoholic or in any way living in misery, do you think that we came to this planet to live in stress? Is that it? We came here to be stressed? Such bullshit. Or we came here to live in anxiety or depression. There's a way out of all of that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with medication. I mean, I'm not a doctor, so don't imagine that I'm giving you any advice. Just try this. Do it. Really, really do it. And I don't care if you believe in God or if you believe what your, and the beautiful thing about the 12 steps was that Bill Wilson said, actually Ebby T, who spoke to Bill, said, your conception. And, wow. So what is there, young? I mean, I often when I'm helping fellas cross that bridge from, self-reliant to source reliant to, consciousness reliant to love reliant to God reliant, I use the metaphor of love for God. I say, do you believe in love? Do you believe in love? Do you believe in love? Yes. Everybody does. Everybody says yes. Nobody says, no, I don't believe in love. And do you think that love is a power greater than you? I mean, this is the bridge, baby. It's so easy. Do you believe that love is a power greater than you? Yes. Is it something that you can feel? Yes. Experience? Yes. Have a relationship with? Yes. All right. That's it. Let's use love as our higher power. And that is the way out. That is the way out. When we're in depression, we're self-centered. When we're in fear and anxiety, we're feeling self-centered. We're in the grips of the disease of addiction and alcoholism, no matter what it looks like, the addiction, whether it's gambling or sex or food, it's self-centered. So we need to come out of ourselves in a way. We have to look in to find that out of, but still, so love can be your higher power. If your block is, well, the thing that's keeping you from having recovery is, oh, I don't believe in God. I don't give a shit. Okay, you don't have to believe in any kind of a religious God or any kind of, nobody here can say describe God really. We've been given lots of pictures, if you will, images that from different religions, but let's get past that. Let's look at love. Let's say, okay, I believe in love. Yes, I do. So ask love for help, continually. All of your prayers, make them to love. And you can be lifted up. Look towards love. And we are lifted up. Read Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, he talks about the levels, of where we can live in guilt and shame and fear. How would you like to spend the rest of your life living in shame or guilt or fear or anger? You don't have to. That's it. So I know I sound like a Southern Baptist preacher, but still, it's hard watching, I so many young fellas in my life that I buried dozens, hundreds actually, hundreds. I buried hundreds of guys. The list is unbelievable, and they couldn't or wouldn't see the simplicity in this. And what's happening lately is that even lots of guys we had lots of warning because it took years for them to get to that, that to die, to years of in and out of. And now because of opiates and stuff, people who we never even considered as addicts or alcoholics are gone. Boom, before, maybe they weren't even addicts or alcoholics, but they were looking for something. And okay, that's it. Forgive me. I kind of run on a bit, but it's I care, and there's lots of people who care, lots of people who care, and if, for a moment I can speak for all of those people who care, you know, who have found recovery, who have found a higher power, who are living a life that's beyond their wildest dreams, and that they never felt they'd ever have or deserve. They care. Their help is there. It's in those meetings. It's as cliche as that may sound. You know, I know. The alcoholic thinks he's so important. I need more than those meetings. Well, just go and do the work. And if it doesn't work, come and talk to me. We'll find out how to get you your money back. Just kidding. But it works. And actually, it doesn't charge. There's no charge. There's it's a beautiful thing. Okay, what's the date? The 24th of March. My gosh. Here we are, the 24th of March. Just kind of beautiful day here in Calgary, Alberta. Spring's coming. And yeah, I'm grateful. I am so grateful to be able to even just do this, to share with you guys. Right? Anybody there that I know? Hey, say hello. Say hello. Okay, March 24th. This is this little book I've been reading for a while, and kind of one day at a time. It's called Thought for, no, it isn't. It's called 24-Hour Day. And but the thought for the day today is, David needs his glasses. Strength comes from honestly telling your own experience with drinking. In religion, they call it confession. We call it sharing or witnessing or telling our story. You give a personal witness. You share your past experiences, the troubles you got into, the hospitals, the jails, the breakups of your home, the money wasted, the debts, all the foolish things you did when you were drinking or using or living in addiction. This personal witness lets out the things you had kept hidden, brings them out into the open. You will find release and strength. And not only that, when we share, like in a meeting, the people relate. They see. They're like, it's important for us to be honest and share. Meditation for the day. We cannot fully understand the universe. Boom. Absolutely. The simple fact is that we cannot even define space or time. We cannot even define space or time. They are both boundless, in spite of all we can do to limit them. We live in a box of space and time, which we have manufactured by our own minds, and on that depends all our so-called knowledge of the universe. The simple fact is that we can never know all things, nor are we made to know them. Much of our lives must be taken on faith. Yeah, I mean, that is the bottom line. We don't know. We don't know. So that's why we have to rely on love or higher power when we connect with that. And then we know what we need to know when we need to know it. It becomes available. Prayer for the day. I pray that my faith may be based on my own experience of the power of God or love in my life. I pray that I may know this one thing above all else in the universe. So that's the deal. Okay, you guys. I think I got a little carried away today. Thanks for being here. So we're gonna sit for a couple of minutes, just like I do a really short, very short. So stay with me. Meditation, like I'm talking 3 minutes, but it's a practice. All right. The whole idea is that it's a practice. So we're just going to drop into this space for 3 or 4 minutes, and and I just want to share this. I've run into lots of people over the years who have said, "Oh, I can't meditate. I can't meditate. My mind is too busy, and meditation is not for me. It doesn't work for me." And practice, you know, it's like anything. When we do it a bit, It's it's magic, and it's imperative. It isn't. This is really not optional. That we need to be able to find that quiet space inside of us. So we have to sit quietly. So don't call it meditation if you don't like the word. Let's just call it sitting. Okay. So we just get comfortable. I can kind of do this anywhere now. I mean, it's like it's always happening. But practice. Just sit and close our eyes. Just for a couple of minutes, we're going to leave everything behind. Just imagine that we're stepping into a room, and outside of the door, before we step through the door, we're going to leave behind all of our concerns, all of our concepts, all of our beliefs. We're going to leave everything behind. All of our ideas of who we are, all of our stories of what we've done or where we've been. We're just going to leave those outside the door. All our ideas of future, we're just going to leave it. We're just going to set it down and leave it outside the door as we step into this new space that's just empty, full of stillness, full of nothingness, full of bliss of the moment. Here we are in this oneness, in this isness, in this space that we call now. It's in this space that we experience that power, that oneness, that we are that power, that oneness, that essence of us is that. Maybe our ego's not that, our thoughts are not that, but the essence of us is that oneness. We want to tap into that essence, to be aware of that essence, of that oneness, of that love. So just be here now and breathe. If thoughts come up, just gently let them go. Just gently let them go. Come back to the breath. Thank you. So if you're meditating, you want to just stay in that space, feel free to do that. I'm going to just leave you there. Love you guys. Thanks so much.